guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian Families collection. For today's video, we're going to be setting up a coffee shop for the Fontana or Latte Cat family. And to do this, I'm going to be unboxing and using this Petit Style Coffee set from Re-ment. The building we're going to be doing the setup in is this one here, which is the hamburger restaurant. It also came out, this building shell, as the Blackcurrant Cafe here in the UK. If you watched last week or a couple of weeks ago video, you'll have seen that I managed to end up with two of this particular building, and I thought this would make a really good shell for the coffee shop, being that it has the drive-through window, so there could be drive-through coffee and also space to sit inside. Mr. Fontana is here to help us. He's going to be the proprietor of the coffee shop, but also he's going to help us with scale, as he's a kind of average sized adult Sylvanian, and we'll check how the pieces match up against his height and see how well they work for the Sylvanian figures. So let's start with getting this set unboxed, and then we'll do the setup at the end. So let's start by taking a very quick whiz around the box. This particular set, you can see here, it's called the Petit Style Coffee Set by Re-ment. It came out in the latter half of 2025. It's got quite a modern coffee shop vibe, which I like. I think it's still stylish enough, though, that it doesn't fall too outside the Sylvanian aesthetic. So you can see there's 8 boxes in this set. The way you can buy Re-ment is either a complete set, like this one is, where you get all 8, or as a set of blind boxes where you would pick one blind box and get one of the 8. I much prefer to buy these as a complete set. You can see here. On the side of the box, there's some parts that you can cut out, additional counters and things like that. Stand on the back. Inside, there's some background pieces as well, which we'll have a look at. This is probably a shelf or similar, and then you can see some of the pieces the set comes with here as well. On the bottom, it explains how to open out the box if you're going to sell the items separately. So this is what they would look like on the shelf if you were buying blind boxes rather than the complete set. And on the top here, you can see how all the pieces look together nicely set up. And then on the top here, you can see it set up with the background pieces that are included. So you can see there's a tile floor piece here and this kind of subway tile background here. And then there's a counter there made up out of, I think, the cardboard pieces on the side. I really like that Re-ment do this confirmed complete set option, so you don't have to worry about buying loads of blind boxes and trying to get the ones you want to complete the set. You can just straight up buy the complete set if that's what you want to do. I have a love-hate relationship with blind boxes, so I think this is a really good option, and I wish the Sylvanian blind bags would be offered in this option as well, where you could just buy a complete set if that's what you wanted to do and you weren't worried about having the surprise element. But let's get it open and start looking at the contents. So here's those background pieces that I spoke about. Here's the tile floor and the backing piece as well. These are really nice if you're wanting to set up little dioramas, not necessarily in a building, or even in a building, or in maybe a cardboard structure to make a little rim box. But I really like that these are included. They're on a nice glossy, quite thick cardboard, so they are quite sturdy. I'm not sure if we're going to use these today or not. It will depend how well they fit in the building that I've selected. I'm thinking they're probably not going to be the right size, but we can have a look. And then here's what the box looks when it's all open, and you can see the individual little boxes with the options down each side, the name on the top, etc, etc. You can see here 2025. But let's go ahead and start getting these open, and I'll get the building and Mr. Fontana back so that we can look at the scale. So the background does actually fit perfectly in the building, at least this part does, and you could stick that to the wall if you wanted to. You'd probably have to make, for this particular building, a little bit of an amend to the floor piece, but that actually works really well. However, it is covering the takeout window, which is one of the benefits I thought of this building. So I think I'll leave the floor piece in for now, but I think I'm going to leave the wall piece off so that I can use that little takeout window. Here's Mr. Fontana. So let's get started with this box here. So usually these just have a thumb piece that you can push in and pop the box open. They come with the pieces in plastic and then also a little card showing you which one you've got. So this is number 1 bagel sandwich, and these are the pieces it comes with. This little paper is usually the same on the inside here, showing you the full setup, and then it gives you some paper pieces to cut out here. So it looks like we've got maybe a little coaster and some serviettes, and these are double-sided, which is very nice. So I'll cut those out in a minute. But here we have the pieces, so there's the shop sign and all the little food pieces. So let's get them out and take a look. So the shop sign's pretty simple. It just clips onto the frame like, well, I say that and then I'm so fiddly I can't do it. There we go. And then that free swings, which is cute. That's a nice little detail. And if you know me, you know I absolutely love a little shop sign to go outside the building. So very happy with that. In terms of the scale, perfect size for Sylvanians. Very nice there next to Mr. Fontana. Just going to pull the camera back a bit as I realise you can't see all the bits I've just ceremoniously dumped on the floor here. You also get a better view in the building then. But yeah, that sign looks great. So the set also comes with a tray. Oh, this is really nice. It's got like a wood grain effect on it and it's actually embossed. So when I'm running my nail over it, I can actually feel the details on there. That's really lovely. Comes with a plate with the Petit Style Coffee branding on it. This is giving very Starbucks-esque vibes, I think, in the coloration, but I'm glad that it's a more generic name than that and not actually a collaboration piece, because I don't think I'd want a Starbucks in the village. It might be a bit too real world then. Here is the bagel sandwich itself, and that looks absolutely delicious. I think it's probably ham and cheese, but this would obviously be vegan ham in the village. The detail on this is incredible. Look at all those little divots and dents in the bread that make it look so realistic, and the coloration on it make it look like it's been nicely toasted. Re-ment have some absolutely brilliant food pieces. We then also have a little bagel piece, and again the detail in here is really nice. Maybe salmon, onion, lettuce. And again the bagel's really lovely with its detail. And then you can obviously put the bagel, I don't want to call it a lid, but the top of the bagel on top, or you could have it off to the side. Then we also have a Petit Style Coffee mug. It's a pretty simple piece, but I think it's pretty effective at being a nice coffee cup. We have said coffee to go in the coffee cup, so this is a separate piece, so you can either have the mug empty or with the coffee in, and there's some nice detail on the top there, so it looks more like liquid. I think that's very effective. And finally, a pair of tongs. These have a nice metallic paint on them. They look quite realistic. Got a nice bit of detail at the top there and down the tongs themselves, and they've got these scalloped edges, and you could use them should you wish. So that's the pieces that have come with this set. We've not got a table yet, so I'll just put them at Mr. Fontana's feet, but you can see that they are the perfect size for Sylvanians if he was to hold this little mug. Oh my goodness, so cute. Have a little drink from that. It's the perfect size. So that is option number 1, bagel sandwich. Let's open up this one next. The set is number 5 and it's called Waffle. Comes with this lovely corner counter piece which will fit in with the other pieces we will get in the other sets and you can set it up a number of different ways. Got this kind of black plastic and then this nice wood effect countertop. Again, this has got grain embossed on it and you can feel it if you run your nail along it. It's got some storage space at the back as well. In terms of height, realistically it's probably a teeny weeny bit too big for the Sylvanians, but I think it definitely can work. It's not ridiculously big that they'd be needing to stand on something, so I think that definitely works. Then the set also comes with another tray. I think this is pretty much exactly the same as the one we just looked at. Comes with 2 bags of, I think, coffee. And you can see it's got some stickers to pop on it here, so let's pop those on. There we are, they just bring a bit of colour to these bags. The bags themselves are pretty nicely detailed. They look effective to what they're trying to be. And then you can see you've got a Petit Style blend and a Brazil blend. And the size on these is again very nice for the Sylvanians. Then we have a couple of waffles here. The detail on these is again nice. They look, well, this one looks toasted and this chocolate one even looks like it's got some powdered sugar on one side of it. These are again a nice size for the Sylvanians. I'll just pop them on that tray and you can see they're a great size. Then the final piece it comes with is an iced coffee. So it comes with the little plastic clear cup with the branding on it. Comes with the iced coffee piece here. This is really nicely detailed and fits perfectly in the little cup. There's then even a teeny weeny tiny straw, which even has the little straw bend molded into it. This is a very small piece. It fits in the hole there. And then we have the lid. It just goes over the top. And that looks super realistic to how an iced coffee would look. And if we get our model here to demonstrate, you can see it's a great size for the Sylvanians. Having a little drink from that. So very happy with the pieces so far. I was quite worried that the counters might be a little bit too tall, but they're smaller than I thought they were going to be, which is great news. Then the paper pieces in this one are a box of tea and the little tea sachets to go in it. So I will make this up separately later, but I think that's a really nice paper piece to have as well. So this one is number 2, chiffon, and you can see it comes with another counterpiece, some coffee and cakes. So here's that counterpiece. Nice 2 shelf in a acrylic plastic made to look like glass. It's got the black plastic on the bottom again. It's got the RM for Re-ment. And then you've got 2 shelves in here. This one is fixed, it doesn't slide out, so I can imagine it might be a little tricky to pop the cakes in there, but we'll see later on. In terms of height, again, you could argue that it's just slightly too tall, but I think it definitely works and you can get away with it. The set also comes with another of the trays. Comes with another of the coffee cups. Always good to have plenty of coffee cups. This one has a different coffee in it though. Got a kind of foamy look on the top with maybe chocolatey sprinkles. That fits nicely in there. Oops, just tipped it everywhere, but there we go. And then it also comes with 2 cake pieces. So a nice slice of cake here. It's got some nice detailing on there that makes it look very nice and spongy. And then the icing looks nicely detailed too with these little whips of cream as well. And then also what looks to me like a cinnamon roll-esque kind of thing, iced bun. That looks very yummy. The bun looks very nicely textured, and then the icing looks nice and kind of runny. I think that looks pretty realistic. And again, great size for the Sylvanians. The paper pieces in this one are a drinks menu and also a little maybe serviette style thing. Kind of looks like a wet tissue in a plastic wrapper. So this one is number 6, caramel latte, and it comes with lots of pieces. No counters, but lots of accessories. So first up, we have another of the iced coffee style cups. So here is the little printed clear cup. Here is the coffee itself, which has cream on the top with this chocolate swirl. That fits nicely in there. We have another of the straws. This is just a straight straw though with no bend. And we also have one of these domed style lids, whereas the other one was flat, to incorporate the foam, which is cute. And that just fits on like so. Love this. It looks super realistic to how this kind of coffee cup looks in real life. And again, great size for the Sylvanians. Then we have this acrylic stand menu piece with some stickers here. So let me go ahead and put this together. Here we go, there's that piece, and it comes with the different types of milk and toppings and things you can have. And it does also come with a spare of the sticker in case you mess up applying it. Mine is a little bit wonky, but I think it looks fine. Again, that piece is a good size for the Sylvanians. Then we have this cute little container piece with all these separate little parts. So you've got the acrylic container itself. Then we've got the contents, which looks like some sort of topping that can be scooped onto the coffees. And that fits in there like that. I like that it's nicely individually detailed, and also it's not completely even. So it looks pretty realistic. There's then a spoon for scooping these out. Again, nicely detailed. And then there's also a lid. I'm going to pop the spoon down so you can look at the lid. This actually opens and closes, which is a really nice attention to detail. Looks very realistic. And that can fit on there like so, and it fits on there pretty tightly. And then you can obviously go in there, dip your spoon in, get your toppings out to go on the coffee. Very fun accessory. Love the amount of detail on that. There's then also another of the coffee mugs. Same as the ones we've already seen, but with a different coffee again. I think this is a caramel latte. This is my fiance's favourite kind of coffee, so I'm going to show them that after this, and I'm sure they'll think it's adorable. Fits there in nicely, and it's got the cute little whipped cream and caramel swirl on the top. We then also have this chocolate sauce bottle. This again has a sticker and a spare, so let me pop this on. So there's how that looks with the sticker. See, it's dark chocolate made with premium cocoa butter, flavoured sauce. I did a little bit of a crinkle there, but I don't think it went on too badly. You can see all the ingredient information there as well, and this lovely gold nib on it. Again, the size is very good for the Sylvanians. And then finally, we've got this, which I think is the pump thing you use to put the cream on the top. But again, I profess I know very little about coffee, but I think that's what it is with the trigger here. Either way, very nicely detailed. And you can see all of these accessories are greatly sized for the Sylvanians. Paper piece in this one is a food and drinks menu and another coaster. Halfway through now, so we've got 4 more to open. So this one is iced coffee number 3, and you can see it comes with a lot of small accessories again. So let's take a look at those. The paper pieces is a box, I think. Box to fold. So first up we have this kind of wicker-esque basket piece in a more grey colour. Detail on this is nice, it's on all sides and the inside as well. Again, a good size for the Sylvanians. Then we have some food pieces to display in the basket. So there's these little plastic bag pieces, and you get 4 of those for the 4 pieces of food, and then there's also 4 branding stickers to go on those bags. And then the actual pieces of food themselves, there's 2 of these bread pieces, presumably with some sort of chocolatey spread and maybe a jam. These are nicely detailed, kind of individual portions. There's then also 2 cookies, one with white chocolate chips and one with dark chocolate chips or milk chocolate chips. These are again nicely detailed, very realistic to what you'd find in a coffee shop. I will usually get a cookie. That's usually my thing of choice when my partner's getting coffee. Let me assemble these and I'll show you what they look like in the bags. Here we go, there's those all assembled, and they look super realistic to what this kind of stuff looks like when you actually get it in a shop. I'll just pop those in the basket. I don't think there's room for everything in the basket, but you can pop a couple of things in there definitely. Then there's another iced coffee drink, so it's that same plastic see-through cup again. Here is the coffee, you can see the little ice moulded in there too. We then have another of the straws with the bendy bit, and another of the flat lids. That just goes together like so. Love these, I think they look so realistic. And then the kind of biggest part of this one is this coffee grinder machine. So it's really nicely detailed. You can see the knobs and the metallic parts have been called out. So this is the base machine. It then has the funnel that goes on the top. So that's just in a nice clear acrylic plastic, and it just slots in like so. It has the beans in it, which are being grinded. You can see they're definitely coffee bean shaped, which is really nice attention to detail, and it goes all the way around. That slots in there. Then also has the lid that goes on the top. And that's the kind of machine piece itself. In terms of size, it's again a good size for the Sylvanians. It then has this part, I can't remember what it's called, but the part that slots into the machine. And then it also has the teeniest, tiniest little piece of ground coffee, which fits in this little piece like so, and the camera's really struggling to focus on that, but you can just about see that it's got little divots on it and looks like ground coffee beans, and that goes in that piece like so, and that is just so detailed. And the fact that you can take it in and out, you can have the coffee in it, you can not have the coffee in it, that is incredibly detailed. Absolutely love that piece, and if you're a coffee lover, I would imagine that piece is quite impressive. So this one is called cannelé, which is, I think, this type of cake that's just shown here. It's some more accessory pieces, no counters in this one. And the paper piece in this one is a coffee filters box and some filters to put in it. So I'll fold that up in a minute, but let's take a look at the accessories. So firstly, we get another of the trays, same again. We get another of the coffee bags, but this time with a different blend. Italian roast. Pop the stickers on that separately. We get another iced coffee drink, so it's the same cup, different drink piece, so, and this could even be something like orange juice with the ice moulded in. Another of the bendy straws, and the same flat lid again that we've seen a couple of times now, but I like that you get plenty of different drinks with this. We have the 3 cannelé pieces, I think that's how you say it, I'm not 100% sure. These are nicely detailed, they look pretty much like the cakes they're representing. They've got the little different coloured berries or whatever on the top. They've got the moulded shape and they look delicious. So 3 of those in 3 different flavours. Another set of the tongs, I think these are the same as the ones we saw earlier. And they do function very nicely. And again, good size for the Sylvanians. These look pretty much the same size as the Sylvanian tongs anyway. Comes with a pre-put together paper bag, like a carrier bag. You can actually pop stuff in there. It's got the branding on it. Again, good size for the Sylvanians. Big coffee order though, it's quite big. And also a box that is kind of pre-folded. Let me just pop this together. There we go, there's that one put together. It's just a branded box and I think it would fit those 3 cannelé in. This is a bit more like we're used to with the Sylvanian boxes, where it's a sturdier cardboard and all you have to do is bend along the pre-scored lines and fold it together. A lot of the other Re-ment stuff you have to cut out yourself and then stick it together yourself on these edges. So it's a little bit more involved than we'd usually see from the pre-cut out or pre-perforated Sylvanian boxes. So 2 left. The 2 we're missing are number 4, which is this fancy coffee machine, and number 8, which is this big counter. So this one is number 4, latte, and you can see it's got a latte with a really cute latte art on it. The paper pieces for this one are some vegetable crisps or chips as they're here, and another of these wet tissue wipes. So the main piece for this one is this coffee machine with I think these are the things to make it kind of frothy, and then it's got these pieces for this little piece that I don't know what it's called to go, but it slots in there like so. This is really nicely detailed. I really like the red colour on it. It's quite a deep red, and then it's got the metallic bits called out, and then the knobs in different colours, and then this part on the top where you can put additional cups. The size on this is great, really good for the Sylvanians. You then obviously get another of these, which I just showed you, which you can slot into either side, and you could also put the one I showed you earlier in there as well. You get 3 of these cups. So these are more of a teacup style or coffee cup style rather than a mug, and they've got the branding on them again. So it shows 2 being stored on top of the machine and 1 going with this little saucer, again with the Petit Style Coffee branding on it. These are quite simple cups, but I think they're effective, look realistic. Again, they are also a good size for the Sylvanians. They fit with them perfectly in scale. This cup, or any of the cups, can have this latte in it with the latte art on it. Just fits in there nicely. I'm sorry, the birds are being so loud today. They really don't want me to film this video. Sorry if you can hear them squawking away. And then finally for this one, we've got a little milk jug. Like the plastic used on this, makes it look very nice and realistic. And then of course we've got the cream or milk to go in that, which you can then pour on and do the art with. And again, that's a great size for the Sylvanians. And then last box, which should be this one here, number 8. So this one comes with the last counter piece. This is in the same kind of coloration we've seen before with the nice wood effect top. It also has 2 shelves of storage at the back should you want to put extra bits and bobs under there. Again, you could argue it's just slightly too tall. You Probably be better if his paw was just above it, but again, I think it definitely can work. Sorry, I should have said this one is number 8 and it's called Hot Coffee. And the pieces this one comes with is another kind of promotional poster and a napkin or serviette. Let's have a look at the small accessories. So we've got a nice cake piece. Looks like a kind of chocolate chip spongy kind of cake. The detail on there is really nice. Each of the chips is kind of raised, so it looks pretty realistic. Again, great size for the Sylvanians. We then have a hot kind of to-go cup, or how I would imagine a to-go cup with the branding on it. It's got the coffee in there. Just slots in, looks pretty realistic. Then got its little lid with the hole for drinking from. Again, nicely detailed that is. There's also this kind of stirrer piece, which I think you can put into here. There's a little hole in the drink, so you could definitely put that into the drink. There's then also this piece which holds napkins and such. So on its own, it's kind of plain or one colour. However, there's some napkins that can go in there. Got a little coffee cup on them. Got nice texture on them, look pretty realistic, and you can see there's like multiple ones moulded together that can sit in the back there. There's then also a bundle of stirrers. They do look individually moulded even though it's all one piece, so a nice amount of detail on there. And they can slot into one of these front pieces. And then also the either wooden stirrers, or they could look like sachets of sugar or something like that. And I think they actually go in that one. They go in that one. And then you've got all the little bits and pieces you'd need for your takeaway coffee. So I've just been laying all the bits out over here. You can see which piece came with which bit and everything all together. Now I'm going to work on the setup, and I'll be back in a second to show you what it's looking like. So this is what I've come up with on the setup. So you can see on the left hand side is all of the Re-ment sets, and then on the right hand side I've used the tables and chairs that do come with this building. I think altogether it looks really good. It looks like a fully functioning coffee shop. I think my plan with this building is to probably, because this is my second one of it and my second set of accessories as well, I think I am actually going to properly customize this, paint the chairs and tables so it all looks a little bit more cohesive, probably paint some of the walls and everything and just make it look a little bit more like this building is meant for this particular set rather than being a repeat of the hamburger shop. But I haven't had time to do that today, so this is how it's looking at the moment. I'll pop some other critters in at the end and do another little pan over. But I wanted to show it without any other critters in apart from Mr. Fontana, just so that we could see those details a little bit better. But that's all I have for you for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at this set with me. At some point in the future, when I've had a chance to do that customization, I'll probably do a follow-up video to show you that if I ever get around to it, because let's be honest, there's never enough hours in the day for all the hobby things I want to do. But let me know in the comments what you think about this set. Is it one you'd like to get for your collection or your critters? Do you think it works well or not so much? What was your favourite accessory? I'd love to know. I'm always interested to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.